Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Browns Latest. I am Dave Grendzynski, and this might be the most fun place you can stop in, get caught up on some of the latest news involving the Cleveland Browns, and then also get a very opinionated viewpoint or two along the way. We like to call them takes, though, not just from me, but from all of you who take part. Thank you to everyone who has liked all of our previous episodes. Hopefully this one will make the like list. And then to all of you who have subscribed to the channel, I can't thank you enough. And as I mentioned, everyone who makes their voices heard in the viewer comments, really appreciate the healthy discussions we have in that section. Now, coming up on today's show. Now, holding OTAs after mandatory minicamp like the Browns are doing this week, it's not very common. But I'm going to tell you why it's not just the players who will benefit from what's going on with the extra week of work. Also, we did the third round picks. Now we got to take a deep dive into the fifth round picks that Andrew Berry has made since he's come to Cleveland. And I got to tell you, folks, really, there's only one name worth mentioning. How about this? I asked AI, what is the greatest quarterback battle to have ever happened in the history of the Cleveland Browns? And wait until you hear the response. And then down in the viewer comments, someone has a plan the Browns need to carry out in the days leading up to training camp. But first things first, this is not common. The extra OTA after mandatory minicamp. No, we talked about it yesterday. We saw Shedeur out there helping with the kids camp. That's going on all week out at the facility. But also what's happening is an extra OTA. And so all the rookies are there. It's behind closed doors. And so not only does this give the rookies, and then, I mean, we don't know for sure, but you know, maybe there are a couple of veterans who decided to hang around and take part in this one. Maybe Deontay Johnson, you know, since he didn't come to the one before minicamp, maybe he hung around for the one after. It's an opportunity for the vets to hang around, but it's predominantly for the rookies so they can, you know, just keep learning and working on things and getting more reps and all of that. But the other thing that gets done, especially with us this year, remember, we have a new offensive coordinator, Tommy Rees. We have a new offensive line coach, Mike Bloomgren. You know, we have new coaches, and it gives them an opportunity to, you know, keep going over their schemes, looking at what's going to work, what's not going to work. And so, you know, the installation of the new systems and also gives them an extra week of player evaluation. And so, you know, not only do these OTAs, you know, it's not only there for the players, but it's also there for the coaches. And trust me, you know, when you're coming off a season like we had last year, you can use all the practice time you can get. Now, we talked about the third round picks the other day. It's time to talk about the fifth round picks. Andrew Berry has made the Berry Stefanski era began in 2020. And we're going to look at the fifth round picks they have made. Now, you know what? I say we're going to look at them, but you might want to look away. I'm just telling you, this list. Here we go. Here is the list. Okay, we start with Nick Harris. Nick Harris, hey, had a promising start. He was picked at picks 160 in 2020. We came out of the University of Washington. He was with us for a couple of years, looked promising. We ended up trading him to Seattle, but then we traded back for him last year. We got him back last year, but remember, he had that really bad ankle injury towards the end of last season. And right at this point, he's not even on the Browns roster, at least as far as I can tell. And he's trying to make his way back from that. So Nick Harris, incomplete. 2021, Tony Fields the second, linebacker out of West Virginia, pick 153. He's on the Rams practice squad, not even with us anymore. So get added up to the bust list. 2022, there you go. There's a name everybody will recognize, Jerome Ford, Cincinnati Bearcats at pick 156. Of course, he just took the pay cut, and he is our third running back behind Judkins and Sampson. So, you know, he's holding on. He's holding on in the league. And then look at 2023. DTR, Dorian Thompson Robinson out of UCLA at pick 140. So, and he's now off in Philadelphia, and you know what? One of the things that with him that was really like, man, it was a little disappointing when he got that shot against Baltimore. Remember when they thought Watson was supposed to play, and all week it was a question mark, and they weren't sure. And then right before the game, they decided Watson's not going to play, and they stuck DTR in there. And DTR admitted after the game that he wasn't prepared. And like that rubbed a lot of Browns fans the wrong way. I don't understand, man. You got to be ready for your shot. And so, but DTR really never got it off the ground here. And I don't know. We'll see if he has a shot in Philly. But for us, bust. And then 2024, no 5th round pick, because we traded it as part of the Jerry Jeudy deal. So I would say 2024 is probably our best 5th round pick because we traded it and got Jeudy. So there you go. Not an impressive list of when you're looking at the history of 5th round picks for Andrew Berry. Now, why do we bring this up? Because I don't know. We took somebody in the 5th round this year that made this worth. Oh yeah, Shedeur. So we'll see. I mean, he can really rewrite the script on 5th round picks for Andrew Berry if and when he gets his shot. And so it's going to be fun to watch that as it unfolds. Now, another thing that was fun to do was I asked AI. I said, okay, you know what? I keep trying to tell you folks, this is probably the best quarterback battle we have ever had in Cleveland. And I'm like, man, who could I ask? Who could I get to maybe get some insight? And so I said, I know who. Artificial intelligence. I mean, that's what we do, right? So I asked AI, what has been the toughest quarterback battle in Cleveland Browns history? And this is what it did. It came down to either the 2017 quarterback competition, which featured Deshaun Kaiser, Brock Osweiler, Cody Kessler, and Kevin Hogan. And he threw in this year's, or he or she, I don't know what AI is. So we'll say she. She threw in 2025 quarterback competition of Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dylan Gabriel. And I said, okay, well, which one is it? And AI said, based on the available evidence, the 2025 Browns training camp represents the closest and most competitive quarterback battle in team history, with no clear frontrunner and a rare 4-man contest involving both seasoned veterans and promising rookies. How about that? Even AI knows we're watching history. And in case you're wondering, it was Deshaun Kaiser who beat out Cody Kessler back in 2017. They thought Kessler had an advantage because of his experience. But how about that? Even AI says we are watching history, folks. This is the greatest quarterback competition in the history of the team. It's happening right now. That's why we keep talking about it, folks. That's why we're going to continue to talk about it all the way. I mean, we'll never stop talking about it because it really is must-see TV, these quarterbacks and this quarterback competition. What fun this is going to be as the summer rolls along. What's also fun, of course, are the viewer comments. And if you guys were ever in a quarterback competition, you would win every battle. There's no doubt in my mind. And today, we're going to start with John Landrigan, 6578. And he says, until the quarterback situation clears up, the Browns are contenders for the first overall pick next year. I love the Gabriel pick. We found one! John Landrigan is our first Browns fan to say he loved the Dylan Gabriel pick. So, all right, we've got one. I'll mark it down. This is what John says. I love the Gabriel pick, but Shedeur at 5 destroyed the draft since one of them will clearly fail. Okay, here's what I'll say. Glass half full, please. What I think is going to happen is they're both going to be good. I think Gabriel will end up being a good backup. And, one of the vets will be gone. And, this whole situation will settle. But the main thing to take away from this is John Landrigan, 6578, is the first Browns fan that I have found to say that he loves the Gabriel pick. So good. All right, John. The streak is over. All right. Hot. Now, I don't know if this is Hot Epmore or Hotep Moore. It's a great YouTube handle. and password at the same time. But he says, so Martin Emerson is a borderline bust. Make it make sense, please. Now, he's referring to our look at the third round picks. And I did not say Martin Emerson is a borderline bust. Never in a million years did I say. I love Emerson. I like him. What I said was this year, him and Alex Wright, we're expecting their breakout years to happen now. The jury is still out on Emerson and Wright, and and some of the other guys. But no way, shape, or form do I think Martin Emerson is a bust. If he stays healthy, he is. I love his length, man. You ever look at those corner when the cornerbacks and the defensive backs are all together, and you look at him, he's just that length he's got. He's so much taller than some of the other guys. I love those tall corners, man, with the long arms. So no, Martin Emerson, no, not a borderline bust. Never did I say that, but I did say this is his breakout year. If it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen this year. All right, TJ Stacken. I would start Shedeur Sanders. This is our plan. This is what we teased at the beginning of the thing. This is TJ Stacken's plan. I would start Shedeur Sanders and have Flacco as the backup for this year. Trade one of the other quarterbacks for a wide receiver or an offensive weapon. It sounds like a great plan. Easier said than done. And so we're gonna have to wait for all of this to play out. But I mean, that is one logical way to do it. Or maybe, if you could if you get an extra draft pick that you turn into an offensive weapon down the road, that would be nice. But I just don't think, I don't know what it'll all depend on how there's so much that has to happen before the plan can be set into motion. TJ Stacken. But thanks for the take. Love it. All right, Just a Girl 007 says, I like how you take feedback in stride and you're not on the defense. And I'm like, well, she's talking about, because everybody coached me up on the Ocho Cinco being on the Nightcap podcast. I didn't really say it in the pod the other day, but people kept telling me, hey, he wasn't on the facility with James Jones. He was on it, and I appreciate it. Like that's the thing. Like if I didn't say it, just coach me up. It's fine. It's cool. That's what we're here for. Healthy discussions. This is all fun. Football is fun. This is all fun. I mean, you can't take it seriously. All right, here we go. We'll end on Back to the Block, and it's the number 2 with the DA. Back to the Block, which is a phenomenal YouTube handle. And he says, if no shirt is at 10,000, then we'll keep the subs at 9,900. Save our eyes from that site. Remember I said we got to 10,000. With 6,000, I'm going to change the fit. I'm going to change the shirt. At 10,000, I might go no shirt. I'd be so happy. If I did, Back to the Block says at 10,000, he said, no, let's just keep it at 9,900. We don't need to see that. And I told him, I said, well, I'll wear a winter coat then. We get to 10,000. I'll throw on a winter coat, and we'll leave it at that. But this is what I mean, folks. Let's just have fun, man. It's a lot of fun. And so, all right, that's going to do it for today's show. Hopefully you like that. We're still climbing to 6,000. Hopefully we'll get there soon. All right, thank you so much. Go Browns. We will see you next time.